Hey, what is going on, guys? Today, I'm going to be showing you an extensive economy guide for Valorant. By the end of this video, you should be able to manage and spend your credits more efficiently. Note, the tips I'm suggesting now are bound to change in the future since we're only in the beta stages of development, so if there's anything you agree or disagree with, feel free to leave a comment down below. Let's break down the different ways you can earn credits. First, a kill will earn you 200 credits. If you happen to ace the team, that's 1,000 credits for yourself. If you're on the attacker side, a spike plant will earn every single team member 300 additional credits. So regardless of whether or not you ace the team, always try and plant the spike for those credits. If you're on the defender side and you're the person that defuses the spike, you will earn 0 credits. If you win a round, you'll earn 3,000 credits, and if you lose a round, you'll first earn 1,900 credits. For your second loss, you'll receive 2,400 credits, and your third loss, you'll receive 2,900 credits. After 3 consecutive losses in a row, you will no longer gain additional credits for losing. I will mention this number a lot throughout this video, but the magic number to look out for is 3,900 or more credits. You could check your budget for the next round by checking here in the shop. A full buy typically consists of a rifle, either a Phantom or a Vandal, which costs 2,900 credits, or if you have more to spend, you can always get yourself an operator. Always buy heavy armor and abilities. On the very first round, in round 13 after the first half, everyone in the game will start with 800 credits. This can be spent in a variety of different ways depending on your team comp and what other players are buying. Considering there's no definitive meta yet, I have narrowed down a few strats that have worked for me and many other players in pistol skirmishes. The first build you could do is light armor plus frenzy. This can work if you plan on playing up close and extremely aggressive, or if you're the team's primary entry fragger. This build can lack consistency, but when executed correctly with high level coordination from your team, it can be really nasty. Although with this class, it is a high risk, high reward value. The next thing you could do is light armor plus abilities. This is useful for small-ended protection and utility, but a rule of thumb is to always try and replace the classic pistol with either a ghost or a sheriff on the ground from a dead teammate or enemy. My third and favorite build is always ghost and abilities. It's a better pistol than the classic because it's useful at longer ranges and does more damage, and it is my personal favorite loadout for most cases. For example, I always main Sage, and 90% of the time I will always buy a ghost and a wall the first round. Next thing you could do is buy a sheriff. This weapon can actually be godlike because you can one-tap the head even with small armor. However, it can be less forgiving and harder to use. Also, it does not add any additional utility for the team and requires at least 1 kill to see true return on value for buying the gun, since you need to stock up on abilities for the next round anyways. Rule of thumb to always follow is spend as many credits as possible in the pistol round. Some ability combinations will not equate to 800 credits total, which is totally fine, but do not spend anything because you are at such a disadvantage providing yourself with no added armor or utility to provide for your team, and you're essentially just handicapping the potential that your team could do pistol round. Always buy after a win, and what you purchase kind of all depends on how many kills you got during the pistol round and whether or not you planted or defused a spike for your team. Now, it is highly unlikely you'll receive over 3,900 credits, so unless you seriously popped off that round to afford a full buy, purchasing an SMG or budget rifle like the Bulldog or even the Marshall if you're confident in your aiming skills are all healthy options for Curve. In most cases, your team will sit under 2,000 credits on average for round 2. This situation really sucks, and force buying almost never works because losing will put you in the same deficit you struggled with last round. Your team is already at an economy disadvantage, so to catch up, I would advise you not buy anything at all except for maybe 1 ability at most if you feel it is necessary. It is likely your team will lose the round again, no shame, so saving will help for the third round because you will guarantee yourself at least 300 credits to spend. Full buy after your team wins any round, whether you score kill or not, no questions asked. Let me explain a few ground rules for this. If at any point in time a team member cannot afford to full buy after a win, another team member should step in to fill in. The worst case scenario is if somehow no team members can expend enough credits to lend you a rifle, you must either forgo buying abilities or choose a more affordable option such as the Bulldog or Guardian. These picks come down to total preference, choosing whether you think having more utility or a stronger weapon is more important for the team. Next, full buy if your team loses a round only if all the team members have an above average of 3,900 credits. If more than half your team cannot afford to full buy, then do not commit. Everyone, or at least a majority, needs to be stacked for a round to even stand a bearable competitive chance against the enemy team. Saving in this game is vital to succeed in Valorant. Unless you are winning round after round, at some point you will have to econ your credits to stay in par with your opponent. The main objective is to receive a minimum of 3,900 credits for the following round. If the team average is under 3,900 credits, always eco. This might sound a little rash, but assume the worst for a save round. Rifles are the best guns, and the odds are your team will still lose. So the best thing your team could possibly do in this scenario is get picks on enemies so they must rebuy. So some strategies to follow, and this is pretty standard. One thing that you could do is do not buy anything more than a pistol and a few abilities at most if you have the credits to suffice it. I advise you not to buy a sheriff like I mentioned, because you need to at least get 1 kill to even have the gun be worth it. You can also kind of cheese in this scenario, but in some cases you can actually buy yourself a short or a frenzy, because those are really cheap and really won't throw off your economy, to try and score a kill and then pick up one of the enemy rifles and maybe try to turn the match around, but in most cases just try to get picks. A force buy is when you expend most, if not all, your credits for the round. There's only 2 scenarios where I find this generally okay to force buy, and that is last round before the half and match point, because in both these scenarios you cannot lose out on anything, because regardless you're either going to rotate or lose the match. Anyways, that wraps it up for today's video. I spent a lot of time on this video and I really enjoy making Valorant content because I genuinely love this game. If you learned a thing or two from this guide, please like and share this video. As always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check me out live on Twitch down in the description. Peace.